Town officials consider options to deal with erosion on Sandy Neck Beach, and town manager Tom Lynch is honored this week. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Thursday, April 14th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mantle. In a battle of Mother Nature versus the beach, Mother Nature usually wins. Sandy Neck Beach Park is the largest barrier beach system in Massachusetts outside of the national seashore. And it's important to both our delicate ecosystem and, of course, those who enjoy the beach to ensure it is protected and safe for years to come. The results of a study into long-term resiliency options were presented to the public this week. CLE Engineering presented 3 types of long-term resiliency options to the public. Some of those options include conventional hard shoreline protection like a bulkhead or stone revetment. The other option was engineered soft shoreline protection of sand-filled core bags and beach nourishment. And finally, the option of managed site reconfiguration. You can view the study results online at townofbarnstable.us. The public will have many opportunities to comment on those options before a final alternative is selected. Town manager Tom Lynch receives the Moakley Public Service Award. Sandy Matava, the Moakley Center Director, and Jeffrey Beckwith, the Massachusetts Municipal Association Executive Director, presented Lynch the award yesterday at Suffolk University in Boston.
The Moakley Award is really designed to recognize public service, someone who exemplifies the kinds of things that Joe Moakley said was important about public service. It was a high profession and you needed to do it well. And so we only honor people who do it well. But we also honor really good people who have made a difference in their community and in their lives. And one of the things I want to mention to you, this is the first of 2 ceremonies that we're going to have. When you are from Cape Cod, you think it's on another continent. And so we are going to have a local celebration on Cape Cod at the end of May. But nonetheless, some of your staff said they wanted to come here, and in fact we are filming this, guys. You're going to be on cable TV on Cape Cod, and equally importantly, we have 3 generations. We have your wife, we have your daughter, and your grandson Declan hiding over there. So thank you all very much. Let me just tell you a couple of things about Tom Lynch. He's a very interesting public servant. For those of you who are thinking about the public service, I want you to think about this resume and think about how much fun you can have in the public service. Nothing boring about this guy at all. He starts out going to graduate school at Boston College in special education. His career begins as a special ed teacher in the classroom, working with students with disabilities down on Cape Cod. Then he said, that's not exciting enough. I'm going to get a license so I can ferry a 100-ton boat with people who are interested in going to Martha's Vineyard or to Nantucket. So he and his 2 brothers, you guys may well have been on that ferry with him when he was doing that. Well, that wasn't busy enough, so he thought he would join this little club called the Massachusetts State Legislature, where he served as a legislator for a number of years, when some of us were all very young and there were exciting things going on in the legislature at that time. That wasn't enough. When Michael Dukakis came in to be governor in his 2nd term, he and I worked together. He was at the commissioner at the rate setting commission when I was over on another part of state government. We were reminiscing about his being involved in the presidential campaign when Michael was running a different kind of campaign way back then. Then he said, okay, it's time to do something different. And he came back to the Cape and ran the Barnstable Housing Authority, and then ascended to the town managership, first as assistant town manager, and now as the retiring town manager of Barnstable.
Just thank you. It's really a privilege for the Mass Municipal Association to be able to participate in this recognition. of you. We work with town managers in every part of Massachusetts, and our town managers work with professional town managers and city managers all across the country. And I can say that there's no one who's more respected, there's no one who has a more distinguished record than Tom Lynch, someone who is looked to by his peers, professional managers, leading communities, working with elected officials, working with citizens. There's no one who's looked to more than Tom as someone who's been not only professional and steady, but extremely innovative, dedicated to the community, and someone who, when you look at a good government, you see a smooth service, and underneath you go down and it's like the ocean. There's all sorts of activity underneath. A lot of things are happening, and what's happening is you have a tide. Something is helping to pull. The moon pulls the oceans. In Barnstable, Tom was the moon pulling the community in a direction, in the right direction, and has really made a great difference. And so we're here to speak on behalf of your peers in local government to say thank you for being a shining star and a wonderful example.
This is the Moakley Public Service Award. It is not a plaque. You know, some of us have plaques, or you get, little certificates. This is a cheese board. And on it says the Moakley Public Service Award. So you can show it off, Jennifer, anywhere that you want and send it anywhere. So on behalf of all of us, Tom Lynch, congratulations.
I have to tell you, having a degree in special education, it was in the education of dealing with social and emotionally disturbed children. It's something that really helped me when I was a member of the legislature. So you can start at any career and it'll help you move up. As Sandy pointed out, I started out working in a presidential campaign, traveling around the country, trying to influence in different states, influence primary voters. Then worked for Congressman Studs on the Cape for a couple of elections, getting him elected. Then ran myself, so I served at the state level. Finishing that, I had 11 years in county government that I worked at, and then now at the town level for the past 8 years. So I've gradually been working my way down the political ladder. But I've found a spot that I think brings a lot of my skills that I've gotten together. Congressman Moakley went the other way with his progression up that ladder. He started at the local level, went to the state level, and went to Congress. But I think if you notice in your brochure there, he says something about, Congress was like living in the neighborhood. And for those of us that worked with Boston reps, we understand what they mean by the neighborhood. But down on Cape Cod, we don't have neighborhoods the way you do in Boston. We have villages, and we have a different way of life that's built around natural resources and the beauty of the area that we live in. And yet we attract visitors from around the world. But at the same time, we have the same social, the same economic difficulties that every other community has out there. And I've been very pleased to be able to work with the Moakley Center for Public Management that has really demonstrated that they'll come out into the community. They'll find those individuals, our employees. Lynn Poyant, who's here today, is an MBA graduate from that program, and train them and show that they've got an outreach program, a geographically outreach program. That's why I want to tell them I think you've chosen well in selecting me. You didn't stay within that boundary of the one.
We went across the bridge.
Yeah, and you realize there's talent other places. So I'm just very pleased to accept this, and thank you all for your.
And congratulations to Tom Lynch for receiving that award. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we'll have our weekly arts and culture segment. We'll talk with Patty Machado, Director of Leisure Services. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.